I think I have an obligation to do it. Look, I'm not looking to get into lawsuits, but I think I have an obligation to do it. This was so egregious.
Wow, GB News have done a huge interview with Donald Trump. He has gone after the BBC and confirmed that he will go ahead with suing them. He has gone after Sadiq Khan and he's gone after Keir Starmer for his atrocious immigration record.
If you don't do it, you don't stop it from happening again with other people. I think you probably have an obligation. I'd like to find out why they did it. You know, it's so bad.
Yeah.
Who thinks like this? And I wonder if they've done it. We'll find this out. You know, the nice part about litigation is we'll find out how many times have they done it to other people. Maybe they did it to me quite a bit.
So there we go, Donald Trump confirming that he will go after the BBC and sue them. And the Telegraph US correspondent Rob Crilly, he spoke to Donald Trump, who actually said it's not just going to be $1 billion, it's going to be somewhere between $1 billion and $5 billion. That is a huge, huge sum of money. So that is a lot bigger than what he has sued other companies for. He's sued Disney, he's sued ABC, he's sued X. I think before it was in Elon Musk's hands. He's sued a whole load of different places for tens of millions of dollars. Still a huge amount of money, but nowhere near $1 billion. So I doubt that he would get $1 billion if he were to sue the BBC. But clearly, just like how he does when he's negotiating with tariffs, he puts a huge figure to try and force their hand. But the BBC, they think that they can fight this. They've just issued an apology, but they have refused to give him any kind of compensation, as was his requirement to avoid legal action. So next week we're probably going to see the start of some legal action, which is going to be very, very spicy indeed. I'm going to show you now Donald Trump going after Sadiq Khan. But before we do, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below so you stay up to date with all of the news that we bring you here at Reason. So let's take a look at him going after our London Mayor, Sadiq Khan.
Big fan of the National Guard here.
Right.
I'm pretty much on first name terms with the guys on the corner of my street, and they're so friendly, and you see them putting shopping in the car of old women, and it counters this idea that they're an aggressive presence on the street. They're not. Yeah. We've got such a crime problem in London, and I wonder whether Sadiq Khan should do something similar.
He's a terrible, terrible mayor. And as an example, you know, I was a high-ranking officer, sort of always, or a president. Even as a civilian, you know, I was a respected person. He treated me very badly. Yeah. I said, who is that guy? He's a terrible mayor, and look at the crime you have in London. My mother loved London. She loved that city. She'd always talk about, that was a different London than you have today. Yeah. Today you have people being stabbed in the ass, or worse.
Wow, not holding back there at all with Sadiq Khan. And I mean, Sadiq Khan, he has continued to take the mick out of Donald Trump. He's pretended to be friends with him with this kind of sly, oh, I invite Donald Trump, now he's president, to come and visit us and come to a mosque in London with me and go to the Pride Parade with me in London. And but we know he's not being friendly. We know he's setting him up there so that if he doesn't come and do those things with Sadiq Khan, that he can call him an Islamophobe and a homophobe. We know exactly what Sadiq Khan is doing there. Sadiq Khan, he's so childish and so arrogant, and I'm so happy to see Donald. You know, it's so nice seeing Donald Trump hold to account our politicians and in this case our broadcasting service better than the politicians in our own country do. You know, thank you, Donald Trump. Let's take a look at him going after Keir Starmer's record on immigration.
I'm so saddened to see what happened in Europe with the immigration. I think above all else the immigration, but the bad taxing policies. When you look at, you know, Europe is not the same place. No. I can't say every place, but pretty much almost every place. There are a couple of places, and I won't even get into that because those are the people, the leaders that aren't liked by the other European leaders. Yeah. But what's happened is so sad to Europe. And I think probably you have the same problem that we do with the fake news. You know, if you don't get the news out and properly, it's never going to change. But Europe, I love Europe. Hey, I'm originally from
Scotland,
right?
Yeah.
And between Scotland and Germany, right? Yeah. A German father and a Scottish mother. And a great mother, by the way, I have to tell you, great father, great mother. So I have a little prejudice toward Europe and those two places, but it's so sad to see what they're doing.
Wow. Just a few snippets there of this amazing interview conducted by Bev Turner from GB News. Now, there's a whole 45-minute long interview that they have done. I'm going to link that in the comments down below in case you want to go watch that over on the GB News channel. Let me know what you think of that interview. Do you, like me, think that Donald Trump cares more about Great Britain than Keir Starmer? Because that is the impression I get from that interview. Donald Trump, he's got loads of money, okay? He's had a huge career. He's got more money than he knows what to do with, right? But he says he's going to sue the BBC because he feels he has an obligation to do it. Because he thinks he needs to do something to get them to behave and get the news industry in general to actually put out the truth. Do you think he's just doing it for money, or do you think he's doing it for the moral good of Britain and the licence fee payers? There's been a lot of debate about this because a lot of people are saying, oh, you know, he'd be awful to do this because it's horrible for the licence fee payers who will have to pick up the bill for this. Look, I don't think it's going to be anywhere near $1 billion. I think they put a big figure on that to try and scare the BBC out of it. It might be something like, you know, 10, 20 million potentially at most, because that's a similar figure to what he has got in other lawsuits he's done against other companies. That might be enough to teach the BBC a bit of a lesson. But a lot of licence fee payers are saying they don't want this to happen. But, you know, on the other stuff, like the crime in London and the immigration in this country, I feel like Donald Trump really cares about these issues far more so than our own Prime Minister, which is really saying something. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'm Chloe Dobbs. Make sure you hit subscribe down below if you want to have more news updates from Reasoned.